All right, welcome to the Smeggie Cave with the extended intro. How's everyone doing? Got a couple people watching already. Best start of the show yet. But hopefully we'll get some people jumping in. Links in the description, links in the comments. Go ahead, jump in. If I know who you are, you're welcome. If you're a rando like the last time, you're not getting in. I was just finished up watching a weekly Ask a Gun question with G-Webs, Clover, and Tony. And hopefully they come on over. But if not, I'll just ramble. That's fine too. I'll talk to you guys in the comments. What's going on, Woods and Scott and Chris? Gonna hang out till I have to go over to G23. Oh, G23 is stupid. Don't jump in with him. Oh, and Weston. See, I already got way more people watching. Tell G23 to come over to my show. But anyways, yeah, I just got done watching the Ask a Gun question. This week was the 22nd one, so they did all 22 questions. But I think most of you came over from that show as well. So you already know that, but if someone's watching in the future, then now you know my frame of reference, what I was just doing for the past couple hours. So anyway, what else is going on? You guys know me, I'm just playing with my dog, talking shit. So had a interesting thing happen the other day, though. Actually, maybe I'll talk about that. Tell a little story. So the other day, I went out with a couple of guys that I work with, and as normal, we just went out to dinner, and that was fine. Nothing exciting happened there. But then afterwards, we went across the street, and there was this little like sports bar kind of thing. Only a couple people in there. It was pretty laid back. So we were hanging out there and just randomly talking, those types of places you always end up talking to like everybody in there. Well, at least I do. Like I'm a friendly person. So I got talking with this one dude. We were talking about, I don't know, sports and some other stuff. I was talking about going to a concert, and he seemed to like the same kind of music that I listened to. So he was like, oh yeah, I saw these guys. They were cool. Have you ever seen them? Have you seen this? Da, da, da. Whatever. Anyways, somehow guns came up, and he seemed to be pro-gun. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, whatever. I forget what he said. Something about, yeah, I like my pistol or something. Like, oh, cool, you own guns? Yeah, me too. That's fun. And then I should have seen some of the warning signs. I didn't notice it till after, but I think this dude was like literally an Antifa dude, because I didn't know this. My buddy that I work with told me after the fact that the guy was from Oregon, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that at the time. But his hat literally read, "I kill tyrants." I'm like, or "I kill fascists." My bad. "I kill fascists" was on his hat. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I don't like fascists either, but I don't know that I would wear a hat that said that I kill them. Like, that's kind of weird. So, anyways, he started going off about, like not needing AR-15s and how they're evil and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that's like whatever. Like, I didn't really want to get into it with some random person. No, he didn't even say reasonable gun control. He was full on wackadoo. So, trying to think how he said it. Crap, I'm trying to remember. I don't know. What the hell? What was he talking about? Crap, I distracted myself from my own story. I don't think many people are pro-fascist. Probably fascists are pro-fascist, but not many. Oh, he said something like, no one's gonna take your guns. And I was like, well, if they've ban them, like, yeah. And he's like, no, no one's coming to take your guns. I'm like, but they're gonna ban them, which means you can't buy them. So like that's kind of taking guns. And I guess it came to the point of like, well, you already have it, so they're not gonna come take it. And I'm like, even if they don't come take whatever people have now, by banning them, you're literally confiscating their future self from having it. Because, like, unless you own 50 guns now, if you only have two and then they ban guns and you never have 50, it's like they confiscated 48 guns from you. Like, that's the way I look at it. Is you're confiscating from the future self because there's stuff I want to buy that I haven't bought yet. And besides the fact that then you do have people that literally, like Beto, that literally says, like, hell yeah, we're going to come and take them. You're going to turn them in, like, buybacks, mandatory buybacks. Let's see me and confiscate them. And what happens if you don't go turn them in? They knock on your door and they take them. Like, we're not lying here. That's what they want to do. They say that's what they want to do. And he pulled out this line, which I have heard before. He's like, I only have two hands, so there's no need to have more than two guns. And I was like, well, I have different stuff for different scenarios, and I have different stuff that different people could also use. And there's ever a situation where multiple people are like defending the group or whatever, like there's all sorts of reasons to have more than just two. I'm not saying that I walk out of the house with 10 guns on me. That might be a bit much, but even still, you could carry three because, yeah, you only have two hands, but one of them might stop working or one of them might run out of ammo. And having another one is good, good backup. So it was just a really interesting conversation that came out of nowhere. And I'm always up for talking 2A, but I know sometimes, like, in the bar, and again, I didn't catch the warning signs. I think he was a little more inebriated than I originally thought he was, because he was just kind of being like, whatever. Before he was like funny and loud and like, okay, but he's just laughing around about stuff. And then when he started getting heated and stuff, I noticed he was slurring his words a little bit. I'm like, okay, this guy's not in the right mindset. Like, I'm not gonna really push this. He did say something that was factually inaccurate, and I could not help myself because I was already like, okay, whatever, dude. If you have a different opinion than me, that's fine. Let's go back to talking about baseball or whatever. Like, I don't care. But he's like, that the U.S. has more AR-15s than it has citizens, and I was just like, that's totally wrong. Like, I that is completely inaccurate. And he's like, no, the U.S. has more AR-15s than citizens. And I was like, okay, where the hell did you get that number from? And he's like, well, look it up. I go, well, okay, so the U.S. has like 330 million, right? Somewhere around there. Yeah, okay. I'm like, the last number I've seen, which I know it varies or whatever, but I've seen them say that like there's 300 million guns in the U.S. So that's all types. I have seen some numbers that say 400 million. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, 330 million people in the country, 400 million firearms. You're telling me that 90% or 95% or like almost all of them would have to be AR-15s, and then like 100 million of them would be like something different. But there'd be 330 million that are just AR-15s and 100 million that are something else. There's no way AR-15 outnumbers 3-1 revolvers and bolt actions and shotguns and semi-auto handguns and all that. That stuff's all way more prevalent. So that was kind of near the end of talking about that, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to get into it, and I'm trying to enjoy myself with the dudes that I work with who they don't want to talk about that. Like, they're not Second Amendment dudes, so I don't want to like bore them or get in a fight with this dude or whatever and ruin their night. Like, they're trying to have some fun. And at one point he was like, you really sound like an asshole right now. When I said, there's no way there's more AR-15s. I go, the numbers do not add up. There's no way that's true. And he's like, you sound like an asshole. And I just said, okay, if you think so. Like I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to change his mind in that state. He's certainly not going to change mine. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, this guy said it. I'm going to go turn my stuff in right now. Like, obviously, he's not changing my mind. So we just dropped it and went on to kind of talk about other shit, and he kind of wandered off. But that was that was my interesting interaction. Just proves that you got to be prepared to have two-way conversations at any time. Well, you don't have to be prepared, but I like to try and be prepared for all sorts of different scenarios because it's not like I left the house that day going, I'm going to convince somebody or I'm going to argue with somebody or whatever. And I doubt that I changed his mind any, but maybe if anyone else was overhearing, they would realize that that dude sounds like an idiot when he says there's more ARs than people, and that's totally not true. And then I sound calm and reasonable and not calling him an asshole and not raising my voice and just saying, okay, whatever, dude. Like, oh, so you you do you, man. Like, I'm gonna go back to talking with my friends, and then they'll be like, oh, the gun dude is actually kind of chill, and this dude's kind of crazy. So we'll see. Whatever. I don't know what PDX is. You said you lived in PDX for 5 years. You get it. The place literally tries to be weird. What the? Where is? I don't know. PDX. I don't know. Whatever. Wherever that is. There's well, first off, there's weird people everywhere, so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, Portland. Why'd you say PD? Portland, Oregon is PDX? That doesn't. That's weird. I think it'd be like poor, like POR or something. Portland, Oregon. Maybe you typoed. I don't know. Or are they just being weird? Because yeah, it's definitely interesting. Interesting people there. I've only driven through Portland. I went up at one point to Tacoma. Oh, the airport. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, like DTW is Detroit and all that shit. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you lived in the airport for 5 years. Wow, that's pretty crazy. So, anyways, I drove through Portland to get up to Washington, and me and my girl spent a couple days up in Tacoma. Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah, she was doing work up there, and so like I was just being her Uber and got a nice little, I forget what it was, 3 days or something. Like she worked 2 days and we spent 3 days kind of thing. Like during the day, I just kind of hung out in the hotel or whatever. I didn't really do much. It's kind of boring. But then once she got off work, we went dinner and stuff. We went up to Seattle one night. That was okay. We went to the touristy thing, the fish market or whatever, where the people throw stuff and everyone's all like, "Ooh, it's fancy! It was in a movie." I was like, okay, I guess if you want to buy fish." Yeah, man, it's the West Coast chat. What's up, G23? Jump in, man. Do a warm up for your show. Get yourself loose, loosey goosey. Oh, yeah, throwing fish place. The whatever that thing is called. So, anyways, it was interesting. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Pike thing, Pike Market, Pike Place Market, whatever. Little known fact: the fish they throw isn't the fish they give you. Okay, See, the thing is, when they were throwing fish around, I just jumped over the counter and intercepted it and ran away. So the fish they throw is the fish they gave me. I just didn't pay for it. Yep, saw the bubblegum wall. You guys would all know this if you followed my Instagram very closely because I posted a picture of the bubblegum wall. Why aren't you obsessed with me? This is not fair. What kind of fans are you? Certainly not ones that jump into the chat. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Okay. I'm just kidding. I don't expect people to be stalking me. You're banned from Instagram? Oh. Well, maybe I don't want you to jump into my chat, or maybe I'll get banned from YouTube also. You must be a bad guy. Only bad guys get banned. But I'm sure it's something stupid. Because you seem like a normal person. So. Dang, man. Banned for life. Oh, I mean, maybe you could, like, join the Taliban or something. They'll let you back in. So those guys are still allowed on there. I bet you did something really bad, like make sense in a post or contradict the mainstream media narrative or something. That's my guess. Or you showed a picture of a gun and they accused you of trying to sell it even though you weren't, because that happens a lot too. I see that happen a lot with gun stores. If they post something like, "Oh, Memorial Day weekend sale, like come check us out," they're like, "You're trying to sell guns." It's like, well, yeah, no shit, I'm a gun store. Of course, I'm trying to sell guns. I'm not selling them on Instagram, but I'm letting people know if they come into my store, like this is because they don't like price. Like if you show a gun and you say something about the price, then it's like the algorithms is like, well, obviously you're trying to sell it like right here and now. But like Walmart could put a post of like, hey, this barbecue now on sale for $100. Like they're not selling the barbecue on Instagram. They're telling you if you come into the store, you can get it for $100. Like, which is exactly what the gun stores are doing. Or if they, have a website or whatever, but still that gets shipped to an FFL and like all the, you guys know this. I don't have to explain to you. All the normal stuff applies. You're not doing a personal sale if you're an FFL. Yeah, maybe G23 was that guy in the bar last night. Maybe he did join Antifa and I didn't know about it. But yeah, I did post the wall, the gum wall, but also trying to think when we went. I'm pretty sure it was before the sickness. So 2019, maybe 2018. I don't know. It was a while ago. Oh yeah. So you said something that kind of makes sense. Presumed positive after 3 negative tests. Obviously about the cooties. I'm trying not to say the real thing, although whatever. My channels, who cares? And then yeah, it probably wasn't. I mean, it wasn't nice of you to compare Biden to a pedophile. Isn't that weird that I'm less scared to say that out loud than to say the cooties thing out loud? I'm not really scared, whatever, COVID. But like, you know, like that's how my brain's conditioned of like, oh, the algorithm's gonna get you if you say the wrong thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure like they didn't like you saying that, but I don't see how that's bannable. Like that's just your opinion or whatever. That's like your opinion, man. I love that quote. Yeah, man, that's like just your opinion. So, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? We'll try and ramble about stuff. This is Ask a Gun Question, Part 2. A lot less helpful answers. What's going on, Bob? Yeah, well, G23, that's all misinformation. You can't trust negative tests. That would be, you know, that wouldn't be scientific. How dare you take a medical test and then get the results that they don't want you to get? Therefore, obviously, the test is no good. Shotguns? Okay. I like shotguns. I only own one, but it's fun. It's a semi-automatic Beretta. Trying to remember the model. I think it's like the AL30 or no AL390. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. It's a Beretta semi-auto. I think I remember I looked it up. Like I tried to find it, and they don't make the one that I have anymore. But they make something like similar. They just changed the name or whatever. A shotgun for the wife. Um, I would say whatever. What do you want the shotgun for? Like for the same thing. Like I know ladies that can handle a shotgun the same as dudes. So whatever shotgun's good about whatever shotgun you'd want to use, like use that same one for the wife. Stevens 320 20 gauge versus 510 Bantam Mossberg. Okay. Um, I don't know. I told you this was ask gun questions with a lot less useful info. I'm not familiar. I don't know what the Bantam is. I don't really know the Stevens. I don't know if that was supposed to be 410 Bantam, not 510. Is that what you're talking about? Different calibers? Like, oh, that's just when I get 12. Okay. Because that, I thought maybe it was just a typo. So 220 gauge. All right. Well, I mean, 20 gauges are fine. I said I only have a 12. G23 saying go for the Mossberg. Yeah, I don't really know. I've heard of Stevens before, and I've heard of Mossberg before. I don't have an opinion. Okay, Bob, that's over the line. That's not very nice. I can't help it what his dog toy is, okay? I didn't make the thing. Just happens to be the one that holds up the best. Because this dude destroys toys. So I can't use anything like soft rubber. I can't use any like fluffy thing. Oh, he rips the stuffing out in 2 seconds. Rope stuff, gone. Just shredded. Okay, she's a tiny person. So I mean I guess that makes sense for using a 20 gauge. If doesn't want to get kicked around so much with like a bigger 12 gauge. So either way, okay, Stevenson's 320 versus the 510 Bantam. I don't know. What are they? Are those pumps? Are they semi-autos? I mean, I will totally go with the Mossberg. Like, if you just need approval, then yes, go for it. I allow it. Like how even, well, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. What's going on, Bernie? Got some pretty good people watching, man. So you guys can jump in. Links in the description. And I don't just have to ramble. Why do you need 5 to 6 Mossberg 500s? You only have 2 hands. Come on, Woods. Didn't you listen to the story earlier? You don't need that many. Yeah, you're going live in less than 20 minutes. So then jump in here as a warm-up. They all have different jobs. Well, I mean, are they set up different? Like, is that... I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge into shotguns. I've heard of the Mossberg 500, but is it like they all have different, like, different stocks or different setups or sights or something? We talked about that the other day too. I don't remember if it was you or if it was other people, but about why would you want like 2 or more of the same gun? Like I said, I'm just curious. So, okay, yeah, if it's super, like if you have a super customizable or whatever, like that makes sense. You use one for hunting or one for home defense or one for, I don't know, like competition or what else can you do with a shotgun? Hunting, competition, self-defense, just for the fun of it. Have a range toy one. Zombies. Makes sense. I guess you need 4 or 5 of those. Yeah, Mad Sexy, that's what I think we came to conclusion the other day. I have 2 of everything, so one's for modding and then one you can just like keep classic, keep standard or whatever. Like I said, I get it, and I'm certainly not going to be the one to tell anyone not to do it. I forget. Sorry, I have a bad memory. Someone was looking at getting like it was like a revolver, and they already had one, and they were going to get a second one. And then I was asking them like, well, why would you want that? Oh, I know this dude. You can come in. Head to stream. Oh, bird gun, duck gun, deer gun, cowboy.
Hey,
yeah. What's going on, Liv? Oh, same old, same old. So, Bob, what's the difference between a bird gun and a duck gun? Because isn't a duck a bird? Like, I could see putting in a different choke or whatever, but why would you have to set the gun up different?
Like one could be upland and one could be more waterfowl. Your waterfowl gun's getting a lot dirtier than your upland gun.
Oh, so maybe you'd want like stainless or something like.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
And then it made me think about why I have a tendency to buy 2 of the same gun. I think it's that in my head. I think it's that one is none and two is one. That whole idea.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 is one. 1 is none. 3 is only one more than two, but since one is none, then three is no more than actual two, and two is only one, and that's none. So, and then four is two twos, but two is only one, so that's really only two twos, and one is none, so 0 + 0 = 0. So really, you could have four guns and not really have any at all.
Exactly.
So
Math.
it doesn't start till five.
When you get you have to have an even number, and then
Yeah,
then
once
you
you
can go
get
to 7 too, according to that.
once you get your fifth gun, then you have one.
Okay, so no, technically, I only have one shotgun then. Or
yeah, exactly. And I certainly don't have any. I have a fraction of one.
Well, part of the problem is too is I have friends and stuff, and it's a couple of times where somebody's brought me a broken 500, and what it is the extractor on those. It has a screw versus like a lot of the other ones are welded in. So I end up buying that. I end up buying one of those for like $100, and then I put in a new extractor, and now I have a new shotgun. Then I just put it in my safe, and now I have more shotguns. Because sometimes you buy guns because they're cool.
Listen, I just want to go on record and go against what the comment was saying. I am not gun shaming anybody. Don't misconstrue if I ask why.
I didn't think you were. Yeah.
No, I know for you, I'm clarifying to the chat there. If I say, why do you have that? I'm not saying, therefore, I think you shouldn't. I'm just asking a question and just trying to understand. I want all the people to have all the guns. I'm all for it.
I don't ask my wife how many shoes she's got, so she doesn't ask me how many guns I got.
Why? You only have 2 feet. You only need 2 shoes. Come on.
Like, you only need boots and regular shoes, but I assure you she's got a lot more than that. Our whole under our bed is got little boxes full of shoes, the entire thing, even my side, because they've got different purposes apparently. Because girls. Hey, G.
In it's wintertime, the government could issue winter shoes and then take away your summer shoes so that you don't have to have extra shoes around. And then when it's summer again, they could take away the winter shoes and bring back the summer shoes. And that's all of our problems.
And then if you want to like work out or like run on a track, when you go to the gym, they have a locker. Like, you have to keep your running shoes, your assault running shoes, at the gym and keep it locked. You can use it, but you can't take it back home with you, because why would you need to run when you're at your house? You have to go to the gym.
Why do you need to own them? You ever been to a roller rink or an ice skating rink? You don't own roller skates and ice skates.
Or bowling shoes. You get to do that gross bowling shoes thing.
Exactly. Bowling. Like, if you go somewhere, they should have the appropriate shoes for you. You should walk around barefoot until you walk into the place.
And we all have exactly the same shoe that's super ugly, so nobody feels bad. I admire the white dog. I like the dog that fetches a lot, but I also like the dog that just like, nah, pass. I'm just going to be over here chilling out. You could chase the thing.
He's not very toy driven.
No, he's like, cool, I'm good. He's happy. He looks like a perfectly happy dog. He's like, okay, you do all the fetching for Dad. I'll just eat food and poop and stuff. I don't have to do much.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of energy like outside in the backyard. He goes crazy if you go to the dog park, and he's got a lot of energy inside. They're always like wrestling and stuff. But even inside, he doesn't have much interest in toys. Like, he'll never really play fetch. Sometimes he'll we have a little basket that has different types of toys. He'll take them out and chew on it for like a minute or whatever. But even then, it's not that often. This dude's the best.
My 2 new puppies, they're only 5 months old, and they're sister and brother labs, and one's way bigger than the other one. And no matter how many bones or toys I buy them, it doesn't matter what one of them has. The other one has to have the one the other dog has. There could be all of the other toys on Earth ready to go. They don't care. They want the one the other one has, and they get mad, and then they fight over it, and then I kick them outside because they're not allowed to fight in the house.
Do you not know it's the same thing with guns? 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You have to buy dog toys in multiples of 2.
I've done that. I do the
one the other one has.
I give them the chews that they like. They're these Himalayan bones because they don't splinter everywhere, and they're like $10 each, but they last a long time, even with their little teeth. There's 3 or 4 sitting on the ground right now that are exactly the same thing, and if one picks up one, there can be 4 other ones of the exact same thing. They don't want that one. They want the one the other dog has. Because dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really go with like super hard. Like I don't really get them bones and stuff because this dude, Roy, is like such an aggressive hard chewer that like he'll break his teeth before he gives up chewing on a bone. Like it still won't last very long. He'll just go nuts on it. Like we've given him stuff before, and it's like his gums start bleeding and everything. It's like okay, we're taking those away.
Well, he's smarter than labs because my labs are dumb enough to where on a regular basis I have to take. I find them in the yard and they're chewing on something. It's a big ass rock, and they're just sitting there chewing on it because lab.
Oh,
they're dumb as
he tried too. If I wasn't throwing this, if I would have came outside with nothing, then he'd be running around looking for stuff. Normally he finds sticks and whatnot, but yeah, he'll go after rocks. I always yell at him.
Yeah, I have a debris field in my backyard.
Yeah, trying to avoid getting into that habit, but that was the other day. He picked up a chunk of a brick. I didn't even know we had it. It was like kind of buried in the back. I just found it.
I found my dog eating pressure-treated wood this morning. They had a fence belt, and there was just one little piece that they must have missed when they picked it up. Nope, dog found it. Here it is. That's got to be good for it.
Yeah.
Like,
try to avoid that.
But they're also dumb enough when I want them to come inside, I just go out, because sometimes they ignore me. They're like, no, we're playing. And I pick up a stick, and now they've got the greatest stick that ever existed, and they run as fast as they can to where I am. And I make them go inside, and I throw the stick out in the yard, and they're like, damn it. That was the best stick ever. Now we don't have it.
Yeah, the white one just went inside by himself.
He's like, I'm out. This is
I got my phone today, so he's just sitting inside by himself now.
Do you let him on the furniture?
Yeah.
I'm so into letting my dogs on the furniture, I'll buy them their own couch. Here, go ahead. G-Webs, does Mello ever fetch anything? I feel like Mello's not really a fetchy kind of dog.
No, not even considering it. She wouldn't even, when it was 1,000,000 degrees out, she wouldn't take an ice cube from something.
Oh, I have to pay, because I don't have an ice, well, I have an ice maker, but it makes the ice is funny tasting. So I just buy bags of ice from down the street and it gives me somewhere to go and stuff. But whenever I go in and get some ice out, both dogs run right to the side and I call it ice tax. They want one piece of ice or they get mad. So I have to pay them with ice. Here's your ice cube.
Yeah, there's like dogs that are like that. This dog, it's like, what the hell is this? She'll lick it when it's in your hand to make sure it's not like meat or something. And then when she figures out what it is, she'll walk away.
She'll just leave it and let it melt on the floor.
This shit's just water. It's just a cold water. I don't need that.
But she won't fetch nothing. She doesn't want to take nothing. Enough people have given her food before that she'll like, she'll walk over and sniff what you got. But if it ain't immediately what she wants to eat right then, she don't give a shit. And she almost never wants to eat anything. So, you got like a 1 in 100 chance of her being interested in what you're holding.
Oh, see, that's where this guy differs because he is definitely food motivated.
Nope.
But he learns like I don't.
No, she doesn't. I can have. She'll be like, I'm like, what the hell? So I put food in there, and then she'll be like, because she wants something else, and then food will just be there. She's one of them dogs until she feels like eating it.
No, he's definitely food, and then I don't give dogs like people food. So they'll beg me if I'm eating dinner or whatever, but I just kind of look at him like, you're not getting any of my stuff, and then he'll kind of wander away. But then he'll go sit by my girl, and she gives them stuff most of the time, and then complains if the dogs always beg her. I'm like, well, you kind of taught them that if they annoy you enough, you just give them something so they'll stop annoying you. So of course they're just going to annoy you more. The only food I give them is a salmon skin, like after we have salmon. But I put it in their food bowl after I'm done eating. Then I go out and like give it to them. So they know it's coming, but they know not to bug me at the table because they're not getting it at the table. They're going to get it in the kitchen in their dog bowl.
So as I read that right in the chat that we have to go pre-Bob,
I
he's
mean,
not
it's
allowed to
Bob,
leave.
so he's probably just making stuff up.
Well, that's true,
That's
but I feel like we could just do a mission and go pick up Bob and drive back.
well, if you want to get caught at the border for smuggling illegal aliens, then you could go get Bob. I'm not taking that risk because then what's the end result? We have Bob.
I didn't think that through. You're right. Thanks for helping me out. Like at the end result, we just have Bob here. We love some Bob, but we probably need more than that.
Because you
Can we
can't
get
just
Bob and a whole bunch of Canadian bacon? Does that help?
that might help a little bit, and especially if you bring back Molson Canadian beer, because it's hard for me to find Canadian beer over here. But
I'll take some of Bat's Blue too while we're up there.
oh yeah, definitely.
So
I sometimes find Molson. I never find Labatt.
we're gonna go up and get a bunch of beer and then maybe Bob.
Yeah, but then what? I mean, you can't just like let them loose in the wild.
We let him
There's too
listen
much
to G-Web's house.
American. You don't know what to do.
We just drop him off at G-Web's house.
No, I like G too much. I wouldn't do that to him. I'm just kidding, Bob. In case you're getting offended, just joking.
If you let Canadians go, they go feral almost immediately.
I don't feel
It's
like
like
that's all that dangerous. A feral Canadian. At least the BC Canadians aren't that dangerous to start with.
I don't know. They might be like that Oregon dude, my little Antifa buddy.
I had a ball when I lived in Oregon, just messing with how ridiculous PDX people are. One girl was telling me I got a burger at this one bar called the Roadside Attraction, nice little bar. It's got outside fire pits, why I like it. And I'm sitting there eating my burger, and some girl comes over and tells me all about how they killed the animals and how terrible it was. And I'm like, isn't that a leather belt? She's like, literally started crying and said, "That my grandmother gave it to me. The cow was already dead. I get it, but like, it's already a thing." I'm like, I'm just saying you're being inconsistent. But messing with the PDX people was amazing.
That actually brings something up that is kind of tangential, but the whole like, if it's from a long time ago, is it still cool? But like, the thing about when they ban ivory stuff, like, I don't want any new ivory stuff. Like, I'm definitely against like, poaching elephants or whatever, or rhinos and things. But if you had something like from a long time ago, like, it's not your fault that they killed an elephant back in the day.
Right, like if you're on a cool pearl handled gun from way back in the day and you're interested in that particular gun, I'm not going to not buy it because it's got ivory handles.
Yeah, but there's certain, I think like New York and stuff, like they ban like any like ivory thing.
Right.
And it's like there should be a distinction. Like I said, I get not new manufactured, but even still, what if it was allowed? And is it a situation where like people might start farming elephants and then like, I guess probably still mean to like cut the tusks off, but at least you're not killing them or whatever. And then there'd be more elephants like to breed, and there'd be more like you could set some of them go in the wild or whatever. And like, I don't know, it's one of those things.
What if what the things snakes are? Where you light them and they puff out. What if they made a snake made out of something that turned into ivory? And then you wouldn't have to kill an elephant. You could just make them. And then you got some ivory.
There is artificial ivory that they. What did I see that on? They literally found they like make it somehow, and it's, I don't know, like it's not just like a whatever hard ceramic or something. Like it's like it actually is ivory, but they get like lab type of thing.
What if you took a oyster, whatever it is that makes a pearl, and you tuck that thing into being open, and then you put it around a circle, and all them things, instead of making a pearl, made a ring. You know what I mean? Like if you somehow did that, like make them things produce together or something, you could make stuff. I imagine if that's possible, somebody would already try it. Some collaborative organism type of situation, like kind of like bees, or kind of like bees, except with ivory is the result instead of honey. you'd have to merge something. You'd have to do some kind of weird science or whatever, but maybe a bacteria or something that eats garbage and its poop is ivory. And then so you just put it in a column and you get an ivory column when you're done.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. We're going to cool off a little bit, okay? There we go. I'm going to go inside. So sorry, guys, not going to see the dogs for a little bit.
Boo!
I know. All my viewers now. It doesn't help that I think G23 is about to start up, so probably have even less, but oh well.
So when you're outside, you had a blanket on. If it's hot, why did you have the blanket?
Oh, I get that question a lot, and I will turn my camera back on to show you. I did not put a blanket on because I get hot. I put a blanket on because
Dogs are gross.
okay, see that color? Now see the color it's supposed to be. So like this is like a white blanket that looks brown. So I put that over my legs so that my pants do not get covered in dirt. And then like, whatever, track it all into the house and get all dirty. Well, thank you for asking that question. That is the second question we got on Ask a Gun Question Part 2.
So the short answer is because dogs.
Well, yeah, because he drops a dirty, slobbery toy like in my lap all the time, and I'd get dirty.
Okay, makes sense.
But that is definitely a valid question because people ask that all the time.
What if you had one of them deals where it's like a robot and the dog will grab the ball, drop it in the mouth of the robot, and then the robot shoves it up in the air, and then the dog has to go get it and then bring it back and shove it in the robot and repeat the process?
It's totally a thing.
Yeah, they make them. I've seen a couple of them.
I got a buddy that's got one. He has to turn it off because his dog will just keep going and going and going until that dog will die.
That's what I was going to say. Would your dog do it? And then would you have to put it on a timer or something?
I'm not. Well, he definitely would go for 7 days in a row and not sleep or anything. But I'm not 100% sure that he would drop the ball into the thing. Because sometimes he barely brings, like, that toy back to me. Like, he was pretty good today. But a lot of times he'll just, like, run around the backyard, like, carrying it. And he gets even crazier with balls. So I don't think he would even drop it. Like, I can't play fetch with him with a tennis ball. I'll throw it once and it'll never come back. I have to, like, bribe him with a second one or, like, trick him somehow to get it.
Like have a treat or something, and he'll let it go so he can have the treat. Because he can't eat and have the ball.
Oh, here's the little guy. Hi. So he's inside now, so now he's all activated. I'm going to jump all over you. Oh, you got a nice close up there.
That's my dogs. They have no personal space boundaries.
I just licked my phone.
Yeah, they'll come up and lick my face after eating all kind of garbage out of the yard. I'm like, gross.
Hi, can I help you?
I want food and treats. So there's treats, and you should get these. Because you're inside and you have thumbs. So we need treats.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm like laying on the edge of the bed. Like I have this much extra room. Like,
and they get the rest of the whole bed.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. It's the dog portion. Okay.
There we go. Get some tummy rubs.
My dog's in the middle of doing this. There's one sleeping, and then there's another one way over there sleeping. This is their nap time. They'll be total assholes in about 2 hours, running around breaking stuff.
Yeah, these guys will probably they'll chill out for 10, 15 minutes, and then they'll start fighting with each other. Yeah, I'm talking about you. He just looked up at me like, "Hey, you talking shit?"
Do they both sleep in your bed with you, or do you have a kennel or something?
No to both. So the German Shepherd normally sleeps in bed. The Husky, we have a dog bed over in the corner. He'll either sleep there or sometimes he'll go out and just sleep on the couch in the living room. He likes his personal space.
He's like, I'm pass. You guys are too warm. Out. You over here? There's no food in there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, right now he's laying on me or whatever, but no, when we go to bed at night, he normally, sometimes he does, but then there'd really be no room in the bed. But I'm a big believer, like, okay, fine, dogs can like sleep on the bed or sleep on furniture or whatever, knock stuff out. But if in the middle of the night, like if I roll over or like my leg cramps, I need to stretch it out. Like if they get kicked, they get kicked. Like, one more pushed with my foot, then yeah, I'm not like winding up and kicking them. But like, you know what I mean? Like if I push them,
They got to
they
move.
end up having to move over. Like that's their problem. That's
They don't have to go to work, so they got to move. We've got a kennel, and then attached to that, they don't have to sleep in the kennel. And then I've got a big like cage that's maybe 6 feet long and about 4 feet wide. And now they're getting bigger. They're literally just sleeping outside of the. One of them will sleep in the pen and won't sleep outside the pen, but they sleep inside the cage. But they're getting better at it. When I tell them to go to bed, they'll just wander in there and lay down like it's the worst thing ever. Like they're all, and they lay down, and then they shut up for about 4 hours, and then about 4 or 5 hours they start barking, and then I go let them out. It's up from 2, so I'm trying to get them to go 6, 7 hours without needing to go out. But I also don't want to clean up dog poop or pee or anything. So
yeah. My old dogs used to sleep in a crate, but we just left the door open all the time, and because like we got them used to it when they were puppies or whatever, and so it was the same kind of thing. When it's bedtime, they'll go into their crate, but then like the second I got up to go to work, the dog would jump in the bed and like lay with my ex. Like the second, I mean, I'd get up, I'd brush my teeth, I'd look back over, and both dogs are like macking on my girl. Like, what the hell, dude? I barely.
My dogs do a similar thing. I'll let them out.
Not even cold yet. And you're already
let them out. I go have a smoke. I smoke in my garage. I mean, everybody can make whatever judgment they want, but that's where it's my man cave. The wife gets the rest of the house. I get the garage. So I go in there and have my smoke. And then by the time I come back in, I left them food when I go out, and they've eaten, and they come in and eat, and within 2 minutes, they're both laying on the couch. And they're like, I'm leaving, and they're like, okay, see you later. They like maybe look up. They don't like worry about where I'm going. Of course, when I come back, they're like, oh my God, we thought you were dead. You were gone for so long. You're home, yay. And then they have the whole. Your dogs do that where you do the crazy greeting where it's like the greatest thing ever that happened in their lives that you came back?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I have to do that thing where like I walk through the door and you don't look at them, don't touch them,
just
like
walk right through.
Like because they'll jump on you.
Yeah.
But no, that just happened earlier today because I went to go move my car. Because I had a parking spot across the street, and there was a car in front of my house this morning, and I went and like dropped my girl off at work and came back. It was like 10 minutes away, and literally as I was like, I have to like on a boulevard, like I can only go one way on there's a big median in the middle. You gotta like do U-turns and shit. I always cut through the parking lot, like to get to the other side of the street. So I cut through the parking lot. Literally, the car in front of me pulled out, and like first off, he stopped in the middle of the road for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, what the hell? And he was like blocking me. I couldn't get anywhere. And then when he finally moved up, like he took the spot that my truck had been all night. I was like, really, dude? Like I was going right back to there because I knew the spot was still available. And so I had to like park down the street, and I don't like parking down there. So anyway, long story longer, the car in front of my house finally left. So I just ran down the street, grabbed my car, and parked it in front of the house. Like I like being able to look out the window and see my truck, just make sure the fucking windows aren't busted in or anything.
Right.
And like, so that literally took 2 minutes. Walked down there, jumped in, drove a block, parked. I walked in, the dogs greeted me like I was gone for 8 hours.
Well, it makes
Like,
sense that they don't have any concept of time. To them, 2 minutes and 3 hours were the same amount of time.
And you can't tell them I'm only going to be gone for 2 minutes. So they're like, okay, that guy's gone. He left us.
He's gone. Yeah, I'm convinced they think we die every time they left.
Yeah.
Like,
So at least they go through the same like, oh, I forgot about that guy. What guy? You know what I mean? Like they're just dogs. So yeah, that's what happens, right? It's like whatever they do when we leave is they go, that happened. And it only takes a minute for that to happen, so that the other side of that could be 7 years or 7 minutes, right? I guess after they're never going to forget. They're going to be like, oh yeah, this guy, I remember him when I was a puppy.
Yeah, even though it was 10 minutes ago.
Yes. Especially if they're labs, because I love labs. They're my favorite kind of dogs. They're dumb as a box of rocks. It's one of the reasons I like them, but they're really dumb. I've had other dogs that are way smarter than these labs.
Yeah, these guys are pretty smart. I think they can tell time because normally, and this is what I'm saying, they're only going to lay down. They're going to be killed for another 20 minutes. Is that I can't even say the time out loud, but they normally eat 20 minutes from now, and I swear they can like almost know how to read the clock and know that that's the time. Like I said, I'm not going to say the name out loud because if I go, oh, hey guys, is it like so and so time? They're gonna get all excited.
For sure.
Funny how they learn certain words. Like they just kind of know what they mean. But my old dog, like growing up, like our family dog, like he learned to walk like really quick, and then we'd have to say, "Oh, do you want to start going for a W?" And he learned what that meant, and then it's like we have to keep coming up with different code words, like for the humans to say, like basically, do you want to go? We're not talking to the dog, we're asking the other person, and then they say yes or no, and then we end up going. But like he would just get so excited that we had to keep doing code words.
They get used to the kind of scene. Like you picked up the leash and then said the word.
Well, then he would definitely like he learned if it was after dinner and my dad was putting his shoes on,
right?
And then going because that was kind of like our routine.
They recognize those like every time this happens, and it's just instinct. They can understand patterns from their hunting brain. But every time this happens, I can eat over there. Some of it's just instinct. We want to think they're smarter than they are. We kind of like humanize them. They're really not that smart. They just can see patterns.
You just call my dogs dumb? I'm going to kick you out of my chat.
He kicked himself out of his own chat?
All right.
But
I'm going to try this real quick. I have to reply to a text message, but I'm running this on my phone. And I think it might kick me out. So if it does, I'll come back. And hopefully, like, thing stays live if I get back fast enough. But you guys can talk amongst yourselves. I'll be out.
all right, G. It's you and me.
I'm over here trying to sort this 22 ammo.
So should we both jump out just to mess with Smeggie? So he thinks it isn't live anymore?
No, if he did on a phone, he'd probably... I don't know how you figure it out on a phone.
Well, the weird thing was, I actually could hear you guys, even though the thing minimized. But yeah, that didn't do it that time. But I don't know, StreamYard's weird. Like sometimes it messes up if I like minimize it for a second, and sometimes it just lets you jump right back in like nothing happened. I think there must be like a delay. Like if you more than 30 seconds or more than a minute, then it will do the thing.
Well, I guess that could be like it takes a certain amount of time for it to lose the stream or something, like whatever the stream latency or some shit like that would be. Because
Yeah.
I've been noticing internet connections a lot. I've got bad internet, and the way that what am I saying? Like the way I figure it out is because the stream will degrade in weird ways.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about StreamYard is it's not easy to multitask if you're using it on your phone. Like the one that GunTube uses, so whatever that thing is, like you can at least I don't know about starting a stream on a phone, but like I've at least jumped in like just as a guest or whatever, and that I can like minimize the window so like it's just a little tiny box on my phone and I can scroll through Instagram or check an email or do whatever, and it doesn't kick me out or anything. Forget what is that? Is that the jujitsu or whatever?
Jitsi, Jitsi, I think.
Yeah, like I said, jujitsu. So I wish StreamYard did the same thing, but I can't get it to do it.
StreamYard's Canadian, owned by France, last I heard.
Oh.
So
does that mean they're pro 9mm or against 9mm? I feel like they could be both.
it would be like 9mm or something like that. Oh shit! How many random bags?
You're sorting 22?
What?
You said you were sorting something. What was it?
Yeah, I'm going through this big bin of 22s. So I was saying, how many random bags of 22s, like baggies and stuff, do you have?
Oh god, yeah. I'd have to go into because I have this fire safe. It's like concrete, but it's file drawers. I've got a whole drawer that's just bags of 22s and little buckets, and like you pour a bunch into something to take to go shoot. I was using crystal light containers, the little plastic containers that go with that. And if I filled it all the way full, it was about 300 rounds. I got several of those in there.
Yeah, so I just, whatever, over the years, you have like baggies and little things and random crap. And it's like, well, I don't know what these are, but they're 22 long rifles. So I'm putting them in this bag.
Right.
So now it's a bag of like every single brand of 22 long rifle in a baggie. So I'm going through baggies and baggies of these random things. Just.
Are you trying to put like kinds together or like brands together or just 22s that work?
This is. There's no way to do that. This was started out as being like, I'm going to buy one of every kind. So when I do show and tell, back in the old days, when I do show and tell, I can have, 3 different brands to show and tell with. And then somewhere in there, I was like, that's stupid. I don't do that anymore. And then it was, I don't know if you remember, this was pre-13. There was a time when 22 was short. There was like a shortage of 22. I mean, that's happened multiple times. But at one of the shortages of 22, the one gun shop bought all this 22 long, right? Subsonic. No, not this. Anyway, there's a bunch of this long in here that they were buying because it was all you could get for a while because they weren't making 22 long rifle. And then once you could get 22 long rifle again, everybody was like, I don't want long. What do I want long for? Especially if you have some kind of semi-auto with a magazine, you can't even use long, right? It only really works with certain things. So I was buying long for $1 for 100.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So if I see stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? That's about the only thing I have in here and then I think I have a couple of boxes of 22 Magnum for, if I was carrying a 22 Magnum and for some reason they stopped making 22 Magnum, I would have enough.
I think we all have to say Magnum like that forever and ever now.
That's a classy way. It's the way of saying
but
it.
only the 22, like not 357 Magnum, but just when you're talking about the 22 Magnum.
Yourself, but I'm just saying. It's
So it
much
extends
more
to 357?
It lets people know that you've come from class upbringing.
Well, I am pretty bougie. I mean, I'm the guy that owns more than one gun of the same gun.
So anyway, it's basically just this random box. And then the other thing, I guess, is whenever I had money back in the day, and I would go into a shop, I'd want to buy something. And if I was going to buy something, I'd want to buy something with the best value. And I find the best things with the best value are open box specials. So every once in a while, the shops would get, they get like a gun in used, and it's got a box with 5 rounds missing. So they can't sell it as a new box. So they usually just throw it in a pile. And then once in a while, they'll put out a table of all these less than regular price. And anyway, so I would buy that kind of stuff. I would just grab whatever I could that was like, this is just a thing of old CCI that somebody probably put out, because it was super old packaging and stuff. Nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's old packaging, so they just didn't want it in their store no more. So they put it out cheap or something, or maybe at a gun show cheap.
Right.
So that's where a lot of this stuff comes from.
I've done that with field loads for shotguns. They're like, I don't really use field loads when I'm duck hunting or anything, but I'm not going to walk past a big baggie full of shotgun shells that are $5.
Yeah, even if you don't need them, really, right?
Yeah.
And then I figured, what happens is I have like 1 million brands of 22. Oh no. I mean, it's kind of bad. Some people don't like that. Some people are like, I only want 22 that I know is going to work, and I won't buy stuff like Thunderbolt. I don't really like that. I wouldn't buy like Thunderbolt unless it was super cheap. So there's a couple of things I just, I've learned to not want. But if it's something I never heard of and it was 30 in a box of 50 or something, and it's half price, then that sounds like a deal.
Right.
At least for this kind of thing, where I only really want 20 rounds anyway. 1 round for a collection maybe, and then the box if it's neat, and then to be able to shoot it, but I don't do that anymore, so it's less and less interesting. But I could take a toolbox of 22s with having, I don't even know, I'm still pulling them out of here. But whenever I get done pulling them out of here, and then I guess some of these are the new branding and the old branding. But anyway, I could bring a box or a toolbox with probably 30 different types of 22 long rifle. So if somebody else was doing some kind of review and wanted to, I could facilitate that, or I could be part of that. But I can't imagine too many people care about that anymore. We've done it in the past where you bring out all these different brands and shoot them, and the difference between them is almost nothing. So it's kind of mind-numbing to do the testing, and not that it's not crucial testing. It's just sort of interesting. So it's like people are sort of interested in it, but that's about it. So it's
like this brand worked and grouped 1.5 inches, and this brand worked and grouped 1.45 inches. So obviously this brand's better or whatever. It's so close. Who cares?
Yeah, it's a ton of that, and it's just really just to do it. So that's why I quit doing it. It was work, really. And then when you do it, and then people come around and go, "Oh, you forgot this one brand of ammo." It's like, damn it, I did forget that brand of ammo. Or it's like, come along 5 years later, hey, you forgot this brand of ammo. Unless ammo places, who cares, right? But if I'm really just looking for what I'm going to do on a Saturday, or what I'm going to ask my friends to help out and do on a Saturday, why would you bother? Oh, did I get disconnected?
You're back now, but you did robot a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, there's a lot of reasons to quit doing it, but at the same time, ended up with all this ammo, so what are we going to do? I shoot it through revolvers if I was going to shoot it, so it doesn't matter what brand it is for the most part. It's going to shoot through the revolvers.
And that definitely is a plus, because that, like I've mentioned even actually earlier in your Ask the Gun question chat about my dad's 22. He doesn't get the whole well, different brands. Some guns do different ammo, blah blah blah. And his Sig like is very picky, and he also bought that gun in the middle of the craziness. I don't want to say it was like 2012 or whatever, when like you couldn't be picky. Like if you found 22 on the shelf, it's the first time you've seen it in a month. So whatever brand it is, buy it. But then if it doesn't work in your gun, it's like, well, that's annoying.
For some reason, I think I remember either you always talked about it, or I remember when your dad bought it, when you were talking about it or whatever back in the day. So I don't know.
Yeah, because I was trying to help him. Like I was asking, that was back in the gun channels days, and I was asking for your guys' like advice, because he's about ready to like throw the thing out and give up on guns altogether because they all suck. I'm like, hang on, you got one thing. Like let's not turn anti-gun over it. Hang on now. But I talked him off the ledge, and we've built an AR together. It's a fun father-son activity. And so now when we go shooting, he just brings his AR out instead of his 22. He still has it, but he just doesn't. He barely ever shoots it.
I would imagine if all you want to do is recreational, use the thing as a sports, what's that called? A sporting good, then that would be annoying if it just didn't work, right? Like just as like an appliance, I guess.
Oh, going out and shooting cans or poking holes in paper, and you spend half the time. Stovepipe was a common thing. It just wouldn't kick out the previous round correctly. And there was things like changing the spring, and then he called SIG, and they were like, oh, well, you need to use, something that has, I forget what it was, but it like what the heat per second limit was. But the thing they suggested when we actually started looking for that, there was only like a couple brands that even make it. They all mark them as like super high velocity, like whatever the number was. And that's what they're saying you have to use, because like the spring is so stiff or whatever. They don't make a weaker spring where you can use less powerful ammo. So again, in a shortage where you barely see 22 in general, now you have to wait to find the super high velocity, match ammo or whatever. The CCI Stingers or Velociraptors or whatever the hell. Like, you're going to find that once a year. I remember arguing with a store one time because I actually found it. I was with my buddy. And was like, oh shit, this is the ammo that actually works my dad's gun. Well, they had a 2 box per person limit. And I was like arguing. I was like, can I buy more than 2 boxes? I'm not trying to hoard it. I'm not trying to like resell a gun store. You have plenty of other brands that other people can buy. My dad's gun only uses this brand. Like, I need to buy more than 2 boxes, please. Well, let me buy a couple more, but not like a bunch. I would have bought the whole shelf if they would have let me. Then he would have been like set for the year, but at least got more than 2 boxes. So that was nice.
Hey, Smeggie, thanks for having me. Dogs woke up. I got to feed them and all that.
All right, man. Have fun. Thanks for joining in, man.
He's got the kind of dogs you got to feed every day.
Yeah, what a waste.
You know what that's from?
What's that from?
The Simpsons, where they get the police dog, that Lassie dog, and then Homer's like, oh, this is the kind of dog you got to feed every day.
I could see that. When you say that, it sounds familiar.
Whenever I see another dog, I tell that to my dogs so that they'd learn their place. They go, not every dog gets to eat every day, Just the good ones that have earned it.
feeding my dogs twice a day. I was going to try and finish eating lunch, but I don't really want this anymore. I don't do it often, but I had some Taco Bell. I'm like, I haven't had Taco Bell in a while. I kind of want to eat some junk food. But I ate only some of it, and then I was like, well, I'm going to eat the other half. I kind of don't want it anymore. I'm going to save it for later. I think I was more bored than hungry. Like I wasn't eating because I was hungry. I was eating because I was bored.
Thought you were acting like you were going to give it to them or something.
Oh, no. They're not getting tacos. It is 3:30 though. Is that what time it is? Is it 3:30? He's looking at the clock. I think it is 3:30. I'm pretty excited. I'm telling you, they can tell time. Is that, you know what that means? 3:30? Kind of surprised the husky didn't come by. Zig, what time is it? Is it 3:30? Is that what time it is? Is it 3:30? No, I guess not. Okay. You don't want food? Here's our food. I found it. Yeah, you're the types of dogs that have to get fed every day. And it's annoying. All right. Dogs got food. Okay. Yeah, that was a fun chat earlier though about 22.
Yeah, we were
It's a
saying
fun
we probably
round.
could have gone a lot longer because there's a lot to it, but you got to cut it somewhere. But yeah, 2 hours didn't even seem like any time really. Just getting into different ways of it or whatever, different angles on it.
Yeah, I liked that like softball question I tossed up for you though, like how many different types? Because as you're literally going through your collection of all different types or whatever, like
Well, I need to make it where I can see what. I mean, I know that I have them, but I don't know what any of them are hardly. They're all weird and obscure and stuff. So I need to make some sort of a way to display them that has some kind of indicator of what things are.
yeah. And especially I would think like the old ones, because they were still kind of like experimenting with it. So they were probably making up all sorts of different, what if we do the case like this? What if we do this much? What if we do that? Like,
And I think some of it is like proprietary, like, I don't know if you want to call them like toys or competition for indoor stuff or like maybe being pest control. But they were like, we don't need to, we can't be a 22 because of the law. So whatever we do, it'll be this or something maybe. I don't know. Because I don't know how old some of these are, but they're like, they're not 22, but they're way smaller. And I don't know if it was a law thing or if it was maybe just, hey, we can make this thing, I don't know, like more appealing because it's less big or it's got less recoil or noise or something. I don't know what they would have been, like what their factors were to come up with it. So I guess I did have a bunch of these just old boxes of long rifle is what happened. whenever I go someplace and I've got like an extra buck or something and something's cheap, well, it seems cheap to me, I'll buy like a box of 22 short or like this box of Federal high power that's just old from like probably when I was a kid or something. So just in case I'm bored and I want to act like I have an ammo collection, I come over here and look at what all I got at gun shops. That's basically what I'm looking at, or gun shows really, is what I'm looking at. Like all these little partial boxes and weird pieces I bought, or like little baggies of random shit that I was like, oh, one day I'll go through and look at all this. I'm kind of going through and looking at some of that stuff. Here's a box of AR Tactical, CCI made specifically for AR style 22s. I don't know if they still make that or not, but that was like a thing. So at least I got all my boxes in here nice, because before this thing had sort of just been an accumulation of stuff. It all just got thrown into this container, so it was all messy in a random pile. Now it's all nice. I took everything out and put it all in here, so it's fits in there nicer. It's more compact. That's about all I accomplished.
That's like step one of sorting.
Yeah, it's sorting. That's all it is. It's not like I evaluated what I got or even paid any attention to it. I just sort of used this as a chance to go through and dig in a little bit. But just as I'm saying that, I've been thinking about how to, here, I guess I can just show you the way that I'm displaying my 22s is with the little things that you buy it in.
Oh, like the little sliding box things?
Yeah, I just turn it upside down. So they're all locked in there. That's nice. But like these little shorts, or CBs actually, they don't even stick through hardly. You can't even see that they're in there, right? So you're not really looking at them. These are shorts, but these are BBs. Like these are 22 BB and CB caps. So they're totally small. And this doesn't really work for that. Plus, I have to have it like really secure on here, because as soon as I don't, they're all just going to fall right through. Because this thing is supposed to be, like this.
Right.
So they just fall. So I'm thinking about how I can 3D print something that holds my 22s. Thing is, I got a way more than this. Like this is a pretty good chunk, but this is not every type of 22. This might be, different types of hollow points like that, and some different types of projectiles. But it's not all of them for sure, and it's kind of random. It's just how I stuck them in here when they'll fall out one time. So there's no like order to it. So I was thinking about how I can make something that I don't have to flip upside down, fiddle with, and then hold it like this all the time, and then hope it doesn't all fall apart and I have to put it all back together again from scratch.
I wonder if you could do like, how that tray that they're all in is supposed to slide into that box along the channel. Like, what if you just made like something, that was the same size as that channel, but then like basically a box, but the height of it is only like 1 millimeter or whatever. So it's like a stopper that you would just slide, but then you could still like push them in from the back, and you just like slide the cover over it, and it would stay in there.
So this thing, right, this type of box for 100 is more square, but it has this and a lid that goes around the outside, right? Like a SIG instead of a 1911. And with this one, you can kind of do that. Not 100%, but
I'm saying if you like 3D printed something like that, that would snap, like would go right into that channel that has that lid.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking something though that's just this. If this was one piece, that's just like this. It's just a little bit taller so that I can just set them down from the top into there like I do with the other ones. Just something that
would knock over if you just set them in there, though.
Oh, they would definitely knock over. That's why I'm trying to figure out how to do it, because it could do it this way, and then if I did that, I'd have to make this part way thinner is all, because this part is too well, maybe not, I don't know. Let's try putting a little cap into one of these. It's not a cap. This one that I'm holding is a little bit thinner than the one I've got all those other specimens in. But this is a little tiny cap. It's barely bigger than a nothing. Well, it's a little better. You can at least see it. But I could still make this thing with the holes in it way thinner. And it would still do the job if it's holding the rims, basically. And what I do like about this is that then you can look at all the rims because they do have things on them. You know, they say different things. But I'll end up probably doing something like that because, well, I'll probably print both. There's really no reason. I guess I don't have enough of these. If I had more of these little things with the holes in them, I would make something to hold them. I have 2 of them. I guess I could do something like that. That's probably the fastest thing to do. Do I need all these things in here? Not really.
Those are all cases.
Huh?
Yeah, looks like they're all...
Yeah, I just didn't leave them laying at the range. Plus, like I say, there's our things you can do with them. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 rounds in there. I don't know. But for the most part, those are empty cases from a couple of different shorts and some silver nickel wash stuff and some other stuff. So it's just kind of random cases. Basically, you know, hobby materials or something. It's kind of useless otherwise. Maybe for swagging or swaging 223. But I don't know if they need special stuff.
I'm trying to remember who used to do that. Was that Dead Horse or something? It was someone we talked to on gun channels back in the day.
He may have done it, but he didn't do it on a regular basis that I'm aware of. He may have done it before, but you know what I mean? I don't think he was always talking about it or anything.
Well, someone did.
Maybe I'm just forgetting it because every time people talk about reloading, I don't retain it. I
don't have a good memory, but definitely, like, I remember the conversation and the person being like, because I think I said something about, like, I pick it up, like, from my outdoor range, like, up north, just for the fact that, like, I don't want to leave brass on the ground, like, on our property. Like, if I end up, like, bulldozing the shooting range or whatever and try and grow corn, I'm going to have a bunch of shells in the ground. Like, that's kind of annoying. So I pick up all my stuff, even the 22s. And I mentioned it that I don't want to throw them away because that seems like a waste. And I go, but I don't know what to do with them. And then someone was like, oh, man, you can send them to me. I do that and I put it on, make the, you know, full metal jacket for my 223s and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, that could have easily been somebody who was doing it at the time, you know, like at that moment. But that doesn't mean that they were known for it, you know, over time or whatever. So that could have happened that you just caught somebody when they were getting into it and needed some.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Like I say, I just don't remember anybody that did that a lot. But it's probably a bunch of shit I don't remember. I can even imagine.
Yeah. I could picture, like, Foose doing something like that or whatever he used to do. Well, he always did 9mm for his competitions, but I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of the reloading chats. All the weirdos come out of the woodwork when you do that. Even though I did like chatting with that, like my reloading skills are, can I make this 9mm cheaper than I can buy it in the store? And it's like not blow my gun up. Like, those are my parameters. I don't need to be exact on all the different stuff. I just need to. And I'm trying to quote unquote save money, even though you end up just like shooting more for the same amount of money. Like, it's not like you're not gonna get rich reloading of how much money you save, because you'll end up just shooting. Oh, I'll shoot 500 rounds because I reloaded it instead of only shooting 100. Maybe. I think so.
Does anybody even watch this anymore?
It says 1, so I'm guessing not. Maybe the future's watching us, though.
That's true.
But they're all missing out because you're showing off cool ammo, and I'm about to show off my dogs again, so.
Oh, they're back to playing again.
Well, yeah, like I say, they ate dinner. Now it's time to go outside. Wow, those look nice. That's like a
Yeah,
fancy.
somebody's hunting ammo, maybe. They put them in.
That's like a cigarette roller or whatever. Like you open up the thing. Yes, I'll have your vintage row 3, second one from the left.
But I imagine at like a competition, maybe you'd want to look at them, and one of them will call at you or something. Will look out of place so you can ditch it. Looking at each one specifically here.
I mean, you might even load that up with each row is a different amount or different type or something.
Yeah, maybe.
That case is definitely reusable.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
load up
really
different green.
Overkill for most people for 22. Probably got it for like 50 cents or something. I guess depending on what you're doing, though, it is sturdy and it's takes those rounds and puts them into a durable thing that's fits into a drawer, into a kit or something, into a pocket. It's not the most efficient use of space, but it's effective. All right, well, I'm going to jump out too, I think, and continue working on projects over here.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Yep, thanks for hosting chat.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just going to shut it down then. And if anyone watching in the future, you should have shown up live. We would have stayed longer. See ya.